How are you? How you been doing?
Everything's good, man. I love the new album. Absolutely love
Thank
it, and I
you.
had to catch up with you about it. So,
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. I'm glad to talk to you, man.
yeah, man, I can't. It's been a while since we spoke last. I'm trying to look here and see. It was
It's been a few years.
2018 is what I have,
Yep. Since the
which,
first, since the last album.
yeah, since a lot, yeah. And
Yeah.
we've survived a pandemic and everything else that's going on. It's wild.
Yes. Yeah, we have, man. It's been crazy. It's
It
been
has been
crazy.
crazy. Well,
But
it's
yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. It's
Good
good
to
to
see
get in
you.
here and figure it out. And I think I want to begin with that angle. Looking at March on the calendar 6 years ago, this pandemic was
Hmm.
totally restructuring everything about our realities. How did you get through that era, and how has it influenced the way that you create and live today?
Man, so I always say that the pandemic, nobody's the same after the pandemic, right? Like
Right.
nobody. Like people that think they have everything together, and it's just no. Everybody's different. You may have some things together, but it either helps you or it did something different for you. Um, so I was really at ground zero during the pandemic. I was in New York, and man, I was in a one bedroom apartment with my wife and my 2 year old at the time. So the last time we spoke he was just born, I
Yeah.
think, 2018. So the pandemic was really like the longest that I had been around, like consistently. I think for everybody could say that. It was the longest me and my wife spent time together. I was on the road a lot up to that point. After my son was born in 2018, I was still kind of really on the road, so it slowed things down a lot. Um, it gave me time to really really bond with my family and think about who I was outside of who I when you're a musician and that kind of becomes who you are. You know what I'm saying, in a
Yeah.
certain sense. So it kind of made me realize, all right, who am I? Who is Corcoran Holt without this, without being able to travel all the time, without being able to play with this person. So I really reflected on my earlier life, thinking about my family, thinking about my upbringing, thinking about what got me started, my earlier stages, thinking about the things that I like to do, the things that really motivate me and inspire me outside of just picking up the bass and playing and traveling the world. So I had a lot of time to reflect on that, and I looked in front of me, and I'm like, okay, um, I got this little boy. I have my wife. Um, Thinking about my father, who had passed away before before the pandemic in 2018, that same year that the first album came out. So I started thinking about him. I started thinking about just like just the stuff inside of me that felt good, like the years when you don't have bills, you don't have stress. So I'm thinking about all these things while I have a moment to just sit back and do that, because I never had a moment. I never really had a moment to do that.
Yeah.
Being in New York, and every day you wake up and you're like, you're going.
Yeah.
You're going. What's next? What's this? What tour is this? I'm writing this down. So I just had a moment just to really think about who I was. And so we took that day by day, just like everyone else. I had some gigs in New York. New York being the place that it hit first.
Hmm.
It was also the place that started to open up things first. Once the Corona whole situation started to kind of chill out a little bit. So there were a lot of opportunities to play, more opportunities to play in New York than anywhere else. So I was playing a lot of Industry City in Brooklyn, a ventilated tenant place where we would play trio twice a week. Myself, McClinty Hunter, and Stan Killian, who I'm really close with. And so during that time, I started. I was sketching out music in the apartment, still with just so much time on my hands. So I would bring some of those little bass lines or little grooves or little ideas to those gigs and kind of just start putting things together. Um, and then fast forwarding a little bit, so there was a whole process, things started opening back up, and I got busy all over again, man. Like really kind of quickly, like 2021, 2020, 2021. Once things opened up. I had my opportunities to start going out again. I started doing that, doing that again. I look up, and then my wife is pregnant again, in 2021. So my daughter, Freedom, she was born September 11th, 2021.
Wow.
Yeah, which gave a whole nother sort of, meaning to 9/11.
Yeah.
And then her name being Freedom and being born in New York. My son, his name being Art. So, I started really reflecting. I was like, man, I want my kids to have the best life that they can have. I knew that I wanted to kind of figure out a way to move, not to move from New York, never let go of New York, but just kind of allow some other things to happen, especially for my family, man. And one morning, man, I woke up and I walked outside. I walked outside and looked down on the ground, and it was a mess outside. I mean, New York, it's a mess, and it's dogs, feces or whatever over there on the left. A broken Hennessy bottle
Yeah.
right there in the middle, and then a dead bird on the right. So I said, okay, maybe this is some sort of sign that it's it's time to kind of move on from here.
Yeah.
Um, and very really short soon after that, we decided to relocate to DC. I had an opportunity to just for some more space, just see what that's like. I just kind of started to choose quality of life. And so we packed up. We moved from Brooklyn, New York to Silver Spring, Maryland, right outside of DC to be closer to my family. I went to DC and I started. It was cool, man. I hadn't lived there since 2005. DC changed a lot. I changed a lot. My creativity, my mind, artistically, and everything changed a lot. But I got there and I had opportunities to start curating projects, curating groups, so I would bringing in groups from New York to come and play in DC. And I started kind of like wanting to just really impact the DC. I wanted to kind of like have my own sort of vibe that I'm bringing to the DC scene. Being from DC but being gone for so long, I just wasn't satisfied with just falling back in like I never left. So I said, look, man, I'm gonna try to create some things. So a buddy of mine opened up a spot, started running sessions there. It was called Flavor Garden. So I started doing that. Then I teamed up with a guy, Michael Phillips, and he resurrected a jazz series over at Tacoma Station. So I started putting groups together. I brought down Jeremy Pelt from New York. I brought down Steve Teray. I brought down Antonio Hart, quite a few cats. I was just bringing in. It kind of gave me the green light. All right, man, let's create this thing, and it's still going now, even though I'm not in DC anymore. But that kind of set a thing where I was just really started leading a lot again, and I started to be able to kind of sketch out and come up with my ideas of music that I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do a new project. I'm always being a bass player. I'm always doing projects with everybody else. But I said, look, man, I think some stuff is starting to come together. Let me just start jotting these tunes down, getting these ideas together, getting this energy together, put this story together. So there's this transition from DC. I mean, I'm sorry, from New York to DC, and then um, things. I was kind of back home. I was kind of back home in DC, but something inside of me was still like, all right, I don't know. I'm not really completely ready to just settle back here in my hometown. Like not exactly. And my wife, she's a New Yorker, and she was just like, all right, I kind of want to go back to New York. So we were about to go back to New York, but I was a little stressed. I was on the road, man. I was going on the road with Kenny Garrett, again, in which I played with him for 13, 14 years. And I started, I was on the road with him, and it was a lot to balance between being on the road all the time and having two very young children at home. My wife being in DC, which isn't her hometown. Yeah, my family was there, but you know how that could be.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's things to work out there. So we ended up we were gonna relocate back to New York. We thought about it, but I was on the road and I was in London. I was in London and I was stressed, man. I was like, dang, okay. I was like, I need to find some balance here. I can't go back to just being on the road all the time and then having these kids. I want to be an amazing musician. I want to change the world with what I'm doing musically, and I've been blessed to be on some of the biggest stages in the world consistently, but I I know that I'm raising two children in 20, 21, 22, 23, after the pandemic. I need to be present. My wife is losing her mind. You know what I mean? She needs me. And I said, man, I was in this hotel room. I was playing at Ronnie Scott's with Kenny, and I said, man, said a prayer, right? I was like, I said, God, like, help me create some balance here. I just don't want to be stressed. I know what I love to do, but I can't just completely do everything that I want to do. I have to create balance and compromise for the sake of my family.
Yeah.
Help me. I swear, man, the next day I looked at my email. It was a letter from Arizona State University asking me, saying I was nominated for a position, a tenure track position for a full-time bass professor teaching in the jazz department at Arizona State University, which is one of the largest schools in the country.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I was like, wow, Arizona, Phoenix. Hmm. Let me just see what this is about. Let me just see. Let me just go ahead and apply. I've never done anything like this before. Of course, I've taught. I do clinics with Jazz at Lincoln, and I've been associated with them since 2008 or something like that. But it was just like, all right, let me see what this is about. Maybe let me just see if I can even get the position. Like, what does that take? I've never gone through this process before. Let me see if I could do it. So I went through the process, man. And fast forwarding, they ended up they wanted me, and they really wanted me to come. And so I made the decision. Said, okay, as a man, I need to evolve. This is going to allow me to continue to work on my projects, continue to tour because that's still a part of my position out there.
Yeah.
They want you to be visible. They need to you need to be having your music out there. People need to see you on these stages. So they wanted that. Um, the only issue was it's Phoenix, so we don't really know anybody, and it's 118 degrees
Yeah.
the day that we moved, which was insane. Um, so I ended up. So that was August 1st of 2023. We left DC and we moved out to Phoenix, Arizona, and it's been very it's taken some adjustments. It's a very different place. It's a very beautiful place. When it's not 118 degrees,
Yeah.
it's awesome. Like right now, it's awesome. But I get to kind of move and shake. So the music really started to come together. I would say over the last year. That's what kind of like I recorded it in April of 20 April of last year. I had an
Okay.
opportunity to bring the band out. Who everybody that's on the record: Stacy Diller, Josh Evans, Kwaku Sumbry, Benito Gonzalez. We came out and they did Chandler Jazz Festival, and I said, man, you know what? They're bringing everybody out here. Let me get in the studio. So I booked the studio session that next day. We played the festival. We went in the studio. We did this. We did the new project, and I spent some time. I really put my heart and my soul into it because it hasn't been easy, man. Like when you do things when you're trying to evolve as a man and as an artist, and you don't want to do the same thing that you've done before, and you have all these different experiences. I was a different person when the Mecca came out.
Yeah.
My dad was still alive. My son was born 2 weeks before the Mecca came out. So I was a new father. But then my dad was still alive. But then when he passed that following December, I mean, it changed my life. It changed my life and my lens. Becoming a dad and not having him. So I had all these experiences, man, from the pandemic, from moving to three different cities, New York, DC, Phoenix, building communities, having opportunities to. I was a co-artist in residence of the DC Jazz Festival for the last 2 years with Ron Carter, which was beautiful, which gave me a whole nother level of motivation. Working with working hand in hand every day with Lewis Nash out here in Phoenix. You know, we're building the scene out here, so I've had opportunities to um, to really step up and be and evolve as a man, and I really wanted to capture that on the project. So that's really what the project is about, and it's about us as artists being able to put our deepest feelings and our emotions out there. Because what the pandemic did do for a lot of us, it boxed us in, man. Like, you know, we're more, we don't want to share how we feel about something, you know, because we're all dealing with different emotions that we can't even completely understand sometimes. So I wanted to do this and try to paint a picture as clear as I could artistically of where I am as a man, as a son, as a father, as a husband, you know, as a friend, as a mentor, as a brother. You know, I wanted to paint all of this on this project. So that's that's really how it came together, man.
It's interesting. I get the feeling of listening to the album, the descriptions, your kids' names are in the title. There's all these things that are entrenched into who you are and your narrative. It almost seems like an adult version of a coming of age. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because when you lose a
Yes.
parent, it's a major deal. I remember
Mm.
losing my dad, and just when you have kids and you're moving and you're doing all of this, and you came to this fork in the road, and now you're teaching. It seems like this, probably looking back, because by the time I'm talking to you, you've made it, you've produced, you've spent all this time, you're looking at the next thing. But when you come
Yeah.
back to this, does it feel good? Does it feel like there's some loose ends that were tied up?
Hmm. Most definitely, 100%. And I'm feeling that every day, man.
Yeah,
I'm feeling. I felt that over these last few releases that I did. These album releases, the one that I did in Phoenix, and then the two that I did in DC. Um, man, you talk about coming of age. I mean, yeah, like in DC, my so my father actually relocated to West Africa in 2005, moved there, and I moved to New York from DC. And it wasn't necessarily, my parents split after 25 years of marriage, and then my dad remarried and had four new kids in Africa. So I'm 20 years older than the youngest sibling, and I swear, man, I'm at Blues Alley in DC, and I knew my little brother was coming because he got his paperwork together. I hadn't seen him since he was 4 months old when I held him in Senegal. My dad put together a trip for my college to go over and play in Senegal. So I held him at 4 months old. He reached out to me a couple years ago on Instagram. We've kind of been talking, but he was in DC and he came to the release. So when I saw him, I honestly I had different feelings about Senegal because in some ways Senegal in some ways was responsible to me. It was responsible for splitting my family up. You know what I mean? Then my dad had these other kids, so I could never fully embrace it. Even though I'm cool, I'm trying to set the example. I'm the oldest. Now my dad's gone, so when they see me, they kind of see him.
yeah.
You know, and when I saw my little brother, something just hit me, man. And I brought him up to the stage and I realized that okay, I gotta, you know, this is my brother, man. And so I held him. He cried. We both cried. It was just like I played the song that I wrote for my dad right before I talked about it. Brought him up. My dad, the spirit was there, man. The
Yeah,
community was there, and it was just the most powerful. I can't even really explain it. Me talking about it doesn't really give justice to
yeah,
the the weight and the spirit in the room. So we're talking when you ask me those questions about when you look back on this, will it be a coming of age sort of thing? Man, most definitely. I and this is just getting started of this project. This is gonna go. This is a seed that's planted that's gonna just create new
yeah,
things. I'm already seeing it now for
yeah.
my family, for the community, for the way artists are thinking, for the way the next generation. Hopefully, they're able to grab some things. But yes, man, man, I can't believe it, but it's just like, I mean, my bandmate Stacy, Josh, we had some very personal conversations just about our artistry and what we need as artists, and how we need to feel when we play with each other. And I mean, we were like, this project is bringing out the inner emotions of everybody. So I mean, we were like basically in tears, just like, man, oh, we've come a long way, but I'm just glad that we respect each other and we love each other, and we're not afraid to show that on the
Yeah.
bandstand. So that's what this project is doing. So this is a coming of age thing for me when I look back on it, but I think other people that are having the experience and are going to have the experience over the next year and a half of once they see this thing live in different places that we're setting up shows, it's gonna have that effect too, man.
And I
You know.
think that the name of the title means something a little different to me, and I think about it in the context of how weird and how wrong things are happening in America with so many
Mm,
things that are happening right now. And I feel
yeah.
like art and music and all of these things are going to create a level of oasis, a level of comfort for all of us. Do you feel like that as an artist, as a musician, presenting and making music in a more specialized way with things that are happening?
No doubt, no doubt about it. Yeah, I always tell anybody that I know, friends, family, you, my students, the, the two most powerful forces in the world, um, in my opinion, my humble opinion, are love and art, love and music, because music and art, because it's the expression, and I feel as though, man, obviously we need it now. We need it now more than ever. We needed it. We needed it 10 years ago,
Yeah,
but you know, we needed it 20 years ago. But we always need it. But yes, there is a powerful. It is a powerful force. And I'm just trying. I'm my goal. It's not even what I'm trying to do. My goal is to express myself and give and allow people to get that from me. Even if it's just one person, you know what I'm saying? Every show, but it's been a lot more than one person, but I want people to know that okay, this art form it's healing. It's a healing force, because we all need it, man. I
yeah,
mean, and I could say for myself, for performing this music and really being able to take a look at what it means. It's been very healing for me too, because I needed it, man. I,
yep,
I needed it, man. You
yeah,
know, yeah, it's close. It's very something very close and dear to me. It's real. Some people just create. I mean, I know some amazing. Shoot, man. You and I both know some amazing musicians. I mean, cats that can pump out 5 albums a year, and
hmm,
it'd be like writing. I mean, you listen to like SF Jazz, for example, or stuff like, like the writing with the pen is just is insane. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And I'm always looking to become a better composer, a better writer, but I want to create something that people could feel first,
yeah,
you know. Yes, it's for the listener, it's for the jazz listener. But I've had cats reach out to me that don't even listen to jazz. They're like, "Oh, yo, man, this is I like this, man. Damn, okay, this is my introduction." But man, let me tell you something, Corcoran. I feel as though you got me in tears, man. Like, I feel as though I need to be a better father.
yeah,
Um, let me call my mom. you
yeah,
know, um, let me create something that is meaningful,
yeah,
regardless of what it is. Let me create something real from my soul that I'm willing to share to somebody else, and they'll get it. Hopefully they'll get something from it. So I'm just all about, yes, the healing force of the music, the inspirational aspect of the music. Is very important. And I know if I'm feeling healed from it and I'm inspired by it too, then my intuition lets me know that hopefully I'm doing the same for others.
for sure. So freedom of art is everywhere, can be streamed everywhere. If anybody wants a physical copy, where's the best place
Yeah.
to go?
Physical copy, signed physical copy is a Bandcamp link. If you go to my website corcoranholt.com, or even if you just Google Corcoran Holt Freedom of Art, at the top there, you're gonna see a Bandcamp out in music Bandcamp thing. Click on that. It's gonna take you directly to where you can purchase it. You can purchase that way. You purchase it from me directly. I sign it for you. Besides that, that's kind of exclusive copies. There's still some available. Besides that, you can find it. You can find hard copies anywhere, Amazon, anywhere. Now there's going to be vinyl that's coming out. I'm placing those orders this week. It takes it's going to take a little bit of time to get those, but the vinyl will be available as well
Right on.
on Bandcamp as well as everywhere else. Um, and yeah, and then I just hope to be able to make it to a city near you. You
Absolutely.
know.
So what are you doing for touring? What's going on for shows?
For shows, I'm setting up tours now. I have a big meeting today. Right now, we're setting up. We're going to kind of start looking to start kind of small, just to finish out. It's the starting process. But East Coast runs from through Baltimore, Philly, New York, Connecticut, Boston, New Hampshire. So we're looking. I do have Dizzy's a vinyl release at Dizzy's in July 9th, Jazz Forum July 10th. But we're going to be booking things right now. I have more updated this week, but if you check corcoranholt.com, for those people that are listening, you'll start to see these things pop up. And I'm on social media too, so I'm gonna make sure that it's very clear where we're gonna be. But we're gonna have East Coast tours. I'm setting up a West Coast tour as well, a Midwest tour, and then we're shooting for Europe for 2027.
Right on.
Yeah, so it's a lot developing. I'm developing a team. Developing a team to do things. So it's a process. But you will see this music live in person
Right
in
on.
all the major cities. Yeah,
Right on. I
yeah.
will put all these links in the show notes. So great to catch up with you in this new advent, to see everybody in living color. It's great to catch up.
Thanks, Joe.
Congratulations on everything that's going on. Absolutely love
Thank you,
the
Joe.
album. Just oozes
Thank
with.
you, brother.
Thank you, man.
Neon Jazz.